People that work in the wedding industry. Have you ever seen a couple and immediately thought this ends in divorce? Why? It was the third time the bride had hired me and all the guys had been carbon copies. She clearly had a type. The type wasn't working. But she wasn't going to let that stop her. Throw enough darts at the wall and eventually one will stick. When the bride and groom argued over why the groom's mother shouldn't get all money given to them on their wedding day. Yeah, that was a red flag. They had a big fight the night before the wedding and were considering calling it off. Until the bride showed up 30 minutes before the ceremony. No one was sure if she would be there at all. The groom danced with his mom more times than he did with the bride. The bride was snippy and nitpicky with the staff all night. The word annulment was cast around and I hope to God they went through with it the next day because holy speed. I worked at a hotel in the kitchen. We did a trashy wedding where the cake was brought in from Walmart. Groom was caught making out with a bridesmaid in a conference room and we saw the bride throw her ring into a storm drain across the street. A few times as a photographer. The couple were usually fine. The families themselves were too different and combative. I work in a hotel. I came in one night to find the wedding was already wrapped up. It was supposed to go until 1 a.m. and it was 11 p.m. because the wedding couple had a fight and she went home with mom. At another one they had a huge rehearsal dinner fight which spilled out into the lobby. Everyone in the lobby found out that she hated his parents. She was pregnant and she had no idea who the father was. And a few other things. Half the guest list packed up and checked out the next day. They still got married. Wedding DJ here. Had a wedding a few years ago where the groom was a total dickhead. When it was his turn to make a speech he refused to make one. When the bride's sister begged him to please make a speech or at least just tell the bride she looks beautiful. He got up, took the mic, mumbled to her that she looks beautiful and sat back down. When I left after the wedding was done I was walking to my van with some gear and I saw the bride sitting one side crying. Found out a few days later that the groom hit her 3 days before the wedding and he tried to hit her at the wedding again when she asked him to not drink so much and pace himself. I worked fine dining / catering for over 20 years, so I've worked lots of weddings and receptions. I once heard a bride at the reception during the toast say that she actually thought she was asking out the groom's twin brother on their first date and that might actually be cute, except she kept going on how the twin was more compatible, etc. Then she ended the toast with "Nice as you are, you'll make a great first husband." I was walking past the cameraman at that time and you can hear me on tape saying, "Did you get that? Tell me you got that." I had a buddy who put himself through grad school playing violin at weddings. He said there were several that everybody knew it was the wrong choice. He said you could just see it in their eyes and how they walked. Yes, I'm a wedding photographer and think this often. When I'm at the rehearsal and they often have nasty arguments over small details. Not sure if this belongs here, since I'm really sure that they got divorced after. But anyway, I was helping out at my parents' restaurant where a huge wedding party was hosted. I was busy serving drinks and suddenly loud yelling and screaming started right behind me. Turns out the bride had somehow found out that the groom had hooked up with her sister right before the wedding ceremony and apparently on a few occasions before, and in her anger she stabbed him in the chest with a dinner fork several times. We had to call an ambulance and the police. It was like hell. Used to serve at a lot of weddings. At one very expensive engagement party the groom got drunk and tried to pick a fight with one of the servers. He then punched another guest and had to be walked out. Bride seemed upset but not shocked. Not necessarily a divorce between the happy couple, but while working weddings one summer I saw the best man and maid of honor walk out of the same bathroom like 10 seconds apart. So I've always wondered how that went over. Did they at least close the goddamn door though? I used to work at a popular wedding venue. Bride and groom came in the day before for rehearsal, checked the decorations, and played a sweet video of the couple. Standard wedding bulls peep. Next day, bride and groom arrived fighting the entire time until reception, where the groom proceeded to drink himself blind before speeches and had to be carried out. Didn't even get to play that video. It was the best shift ever. Got to go home early and take home a bunch of food already paid for. I worked for a catering company. Knew they were going to get a divorce as soon as the bride started grinding on the best man as the groom was puking his guts out in the corner. I've been the DJ at a few hundred weddings. There was drama at most of them in some way. One in particular broke out into an old school saloon style fight like in the old Western movies. I'm pretty sure that one didn't last. Oh yeah, definitely. Ceremony is coming up, but the groom is nowhere to be found. Everyone is looking for him. We look in the groom's lounge hangout room where the groom and groomsmen hang out. Here he is banging the maid of honor. Shame. 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 I worked weddings as a server for about a year and saw a ton of different things, but one stands out specifically. This venue was on a golf course, and in the middle of the reception all of the groomsmen and the groom got drunk and decided it was a good idea to go swimming in one of the ponds in their tuxes. The bride was standing on the back porch screaming at them, asking him how he could be such a dumbass and lamenting loud enough for the world to hear that she married him. I didn't see the bride for the rest of the reception after that. Pretty sure that marriage ended pretty quickly. I don't work there, but once my cousin got married. When I saw her husband I thought this won't going to last because they spent a fortune on the wedding even though they were poor. 1 year later they are divorced because of financial issues. Long time ago worked as a wedding planner / caterer, depended on the client. Woman calls on Monday morning. Her fiancé had proposed the day before Sunday and she wanted to get married that Saturday. I'm a musician and played for a ceremony that had the venue changed at the last minute. Problem was, the only place available was a funeral parlor. Last I heard, the bride ran off with the best man within a year. Night before the wedding, the bride-to-be tried to sleep with me on her stag night. Crying on my shoulder she wasn't ready for marriage. Even my 18-year-old hormonal brain did a big nope there. They lasted a year. Was at a friend's wedding once. It was at the Justice of the Peace. When the judge or officiant came around to if anyone doesn't believe in the union to speak up or forever hold your peace. A loud uh-oh came shrieking from the back. It was my friend's 2-year-old son. Everybody was joking, saying it was a sign. Less than a year later the couple got divorced. Not in an industry. Friend and his now ex-wife married and had a kid to fix their relationship. Their words, not mine. All guests knew that and they joked about it whole day. Divorced shortly after their dog third turned 1. I'm a hairstylist 30 YRS and done my fair share of weddings. It's simple. The more costly and elaborate the wedding, the shorter the marriage.